Welcome back and thank you very much for staying with us. This is Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. Now let's get to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by a member of House of Reps representing Pangshin Kanam Kanke constituency, Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, tonight to discussing Plateau politics and insecurity. Honorable Gagdi is also the former Deputy Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly. Thank you so much for joining us, Honorable.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Right. So because they say politics is local, so let's begin in Plateau State. How would you describe the way the administration has started?
Well, you don't expect any commendation from, at the state level, an opposition representative. As far as the law is concerned and governance is concerned, PDP is the government in place in Plateau State. And if I have seen that the person in charge would perform, I should have supported him to be there. But again, to be fair to him as a public office holder, if he has done something that I can describe as a good start, I will say it. But without any fear of political misrepresentation, I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't think in terms of governance there is anything to speak about when it comes to governance in Plateau State.
So because the governor was a former chairman of Mangu local government and secretary of the Association of Local Governments in Plateau State, do you think that experience is enough to help him navigate through some of the challenges in Plateau State?
If there was any experience, I am a stakeholder. I've said it times without number. I've said it with no apology. I've said it the way it is. As a person representing 3 local governments in Plateau State, a former deputy speaker, a member of the state assembly, a second-time member in the House of Representatives, I think, and a chairman special committee on peace and security in Plateau State for almost 2 years, I think he should have used his experience to galvanize all of us in place, irrespective of our political differences, to rally around in his support, to visit institutions together with him, and ensure we have collectively worked toward ensuring peaceful coexistence of Plateau people. But he has displayed his experience as indeed a former local government chairman. Politics is local. If the experience was so enormous to represent the state, just like the former Governor Lalong did, I should have expected Governor Caleb Mutfong not to play politics when it comes to representation of the people, not to select PDP senators and PDP House of Representative members to go 4 angles of Nigeria visiting service chief without collectively the elected representative of the people. So I think he means different things to different people. To those who supported him, who are in his own political party, Governor Caleb Mutfang is a messiah to the people of Plateau. But to some of us who have expected much better than that from him, I think nothing better can be described from him in the last 100 days in his office.
So what were your expectations?
I had expected that when you become a governor, politics should be kept aside. Political party differences. If Governor Mutfang had called some of us in APC at the national level, like the former deputy speaker, number 5 citizen of Nigeria at one point, myself as a member, chairman of an armed force committee, and the other PDP representative representing Mangu, Bokos Federal Constituency to work together, and the senator representing Plateau Central, who are all APC, to work together with him. I think no APC man would have stopped me from supporting Mutfang toward ensuring that there is peace in Plateau for the meantime, pending the decision of the tribunal, whether to affirm his election victory or not to affirm. We would have supported him. But be that as it may, we are doing the best we can do. If you have expectation that is to change, as a representative of the people, I equally have a constitutional mandate to contribute my own quota toward ensuring that Plateau people, particularly the people of Pangshin Kanke Kanam Federal Constituency, live in peace with one another, which going forward, I think I will be given the opportunity to speak about that here.
Right. Oh, all right. We'll get back to that. The tribunal sacked 4 PDP National Assembly members from Plateau State over invalid nomination. Let me get their names. Peter Yengden of Brakenlade Riyom constituency, Musa Bagos of Jos South, Jos East constituency, Also, Benila of Langtang North, Langtang South constituency, and Napoleon Bali of Plateau South senatorial district. What does this mean for your party, the APC?
Well, it's a victory to us, I know. But again, personally, I know I'm one of the parliament that is very close to Honorable Beni Lar and Peter Gendeng, who we have served in the State Assembly together with them. But politics is equally not a war, it's an interest. When do you have an interest that conflict with other political parties' interests, your party interests to pretend over your personal relationship with people? I believe there was a judgment, and equally judgment will keep on coming as far as the Election Petition Tribunal in Plateau is concerned. There was a victory for APC against Honorable Peter Gendeng. There was a victory for APC, for Labour Party against Honorable Peter Gendeng, for APC against other candidates like Beni Lar, other members of the House of Representatives like Beni Lar. Again, a victory to former Governor Simon Lalong, now Minister for Employment and Labour and Employment. All of those, yes. And again, in other words, the other tribunal has equally given verdict against the APC. But what worried me and my party is the fact that last week there was about 10 judgments against my party, the APC. We respected democracy. We headed straight to the Court of Appeal. We didn't hesitate to make noise in the media, to call for press conferences, to unnecessarily bring tension and apprehension in the state, because we know election petition tribunals have procedures. When you are not satisfied with the judgment of the lower court, the upper court, which is the Court of Appeal, in the case of both House of Assembly, National Assembly, and governorship, is there for you. But again, in the case of governor, you can go to the Supreme Court. So if we know that a judgment has been given against our party, 10 judgments, and we are not contented with that judgment, there is no need coming to the radio, TV, and begin to cast as passion as the judiciary and begin to, say all sort of rot against the judiciary. What we need to do is to go and prove the genuinity of our case in the Court of Appeal. But what is happening in Plateau today, it's only in Plateau I have seen that where a judgment is given against a political party, APC, nothing was done, we headed to Court of Appeal. But judgment was given against PDP, you see all sort of press conferences, all sort of gathering to instigate and stimulate unnecessary tension in the state. We have seen that. I expect us to play the crew. More so that PDP is the one in government in Plateau State. They should have faith in the judiciary, just like we had faith in the judiciary that the judgment of the panel 2 in the case of House of Representatives, House of Assembly, and National Assembly election is not okay for us. We have gone to the appeal court. So there is no need talking. Allow the judiciary, who are vested with the responsibility of interpreting the law, to interpret whether the decision of the panel 1 and 2, which varied with one another, which one is the appeal court going to be sustained at the end of the day, instead of doing what it is. But again, it's politics. It's not a war, but we have to. When people come to media to say some certain things, you need to correct those impressions. And there is historical antecedent. There are judgments that was passed, perhaps looking at the two positions of the panels, you will know which one is more constructive. But that is to us from outside. To the judiciary, only the Court of Appeal now reserve the constitutional right to say, is it Justice William that is right or Justice Tukur that is right? So no need of flogging a dead horse, and at the end we cannot scale through.
Yeah, but what's your reaction to PDP saying this verdict contradicts an earlier ruling by another panel?
Does that mean if a panel, if a tribunal sitting in Lagos give a verdict against a political party candidate, let's say PDP, does it mean that all other tribunals in other states with concurrent jurisdiction have to give similar verdict with that one? It depends on what the lawyers argue in the court. It depends on what the judges were able to see. But the two panels in this circumstance, there is no minority position among the 3 members panel of panel A and B of panel 1 and 2. So does it mean that if panel 2 hardly, which started after panel 1 have started sitting, decided to come and pronounce judgment, does that tie the other panel into agreeing a court that sat at different courtroom, that different lawyers represented clients, that different exhibits were presented, then you must tie their judgment to be the same? I'm beginning to get lost. The way PDP think in Plateau and the way they react to this thing. They are two different personalities. Justice William can never be Justice Tukur, and Justice Tukur can never be Justice William. What Justice William saw in panel 2 may not be what Justice Tukur saw in panel 1. So why must the judgment be the same? If a lawyer is coming to say that they are, in the first instance, they are not one panel, that cases were given to them to handle as one panel. No, they are two different panels. Yes, it's one tribunal, National Assembly Tribunal, but the panels are two, panel 1 and 2. So you don't expect the argument that took place, the qualities of the lawyer that make those presentations to be the same. And you equally do not expect the understanding of the judges, but the three judges in each panel to be the same. So if there are two different judgments, that is why the law is very clear. You approach the next level of the tribunal, which is the appeal court, for them to determine which one of the two panels really acted within the provision of our laws. So I don't think if we have another level that the law have allowed us to take our matter to, we need to gather people to create tension and apprehension. No, we just need to approach the next level of court so that we know which of the two panels acted in line with the provision of our laws. But be that as it may, as a person that was following political event in Plateau, I can tell you for free that panel 2 acted within the provision of the law. The panel that gave victory to, that sat over 4 members of APC in the National Assembly, acted within the provision of our law that PDP have no structure in Plateau. And if you want me to talk about that, I think I am qualified to talk about that as a politician that is elected by the people of 3 local governments from Plateau State.
All right, we'll see how that ends. But because you've mentioned former Governor Simon Lalong, who is one of the beneficiaries of this judgment and is now a minister, people wonder what will happen at the end of the day.
What will happen is simple. He is pursuing his matter in the court. The court have ruled that PDP have no structure, and the reason court given is as follows. I will come to what happened. It's left for Governor Lalong at the end of the day to agree, former Governor Lalong and Minister for Labor and Employment at the end to agree whether he wants to serve as a minister or be the senator of the Federal Republic. I'm not in the right place to respond to what will happen to him at the end of the day. But what I know is the panel 2 judgment is a judgment that satisfies me. And in my own opinion, that is why we are appealing that other judgment in the panel 2 that did not satisfy us. The judgment of panel 1 satisfies us because it has no structure. It has no structure because there are pending issues. People who come to media to convince Nigerians on things that doesn't exist, on things that judges and lawyers did not see in court. In the first instance, there was a local government in Plateau State sometimes in 2021, where PDP was restricted from participating in the local government election on the basis of a judgment of Justice Gang in Plateau. There was a court order by Justice Gang that there is no elected structure of PDP in Plateau. Why does Justice Gang granted that ruling against PDP? It did because we have 17 local government in Plateau. There was a PDP Congress in Plateau that the Congress was not concluded. It was not conducted in about 7 local government. But PDP went ahead to conduct state congresses with 10 local government. Then Justice Gang say, why would you use 10 local government to produce a leadership for 17 local government? And it nullified the position. So when local government election came, INEC said there was a pending judgment that PDP have no structure to sponsor a candidate for local government election. And the same PDP approached the court, High Court, Justice Kunda. And there was again judgment against the PDP that yes, there was an existing order that PDP did not vacate by Justice Gang. Why do you want to participate in the local government election? The learned justice decided to say, no, you cannot participate in the election based on the judgment of Justice Gang. And they were prevented from from participating in that election. Now, they appealed the matter. They went to appeal court to obtain an injunction restraining Plateau state government from conducting local government election. And the appeal court in its wisdom say, no, we will not grant you injunction. Let's hear the matter within 3 days. Call both the party, give date. There was a hearing, and appeal court ruled in the matter on the day of the election in the morning, 1 a.m., that there is no, PDP are not supposed to sponsor any candidate because they have no structure. Appeal court upheld the decision of Justice Gang and equally upheld the decision of Justice Kunda. So PDP were restricted from participating in the local government election. Now in 2022, we lost a member of the House of Representatives representing Josnot Basa, what led Haruna Maitala, and there was a by-election in 2022. The by-election was conducted, PDP won. Then PRP came second. And the PRP man took PDP to tribunal. The lower tribunal said PDP has structure. Then the appeal said, no, we have a judgment against you that you don't have structure. It is the appeal court that gave that judgment. You are yet to satisfy, to comply with those orders and equally vacate the order. Therefore, the lower tribunal erred, and now the appeal removed the PDP man in the election of 2022 by-election and put the PRP. So there is an existing judgment that both at the regular court and at the tribunal establishing that PDP have no structure. Then even the matter that I talk about in the appeal court was taken to the Supreme Court by the same PDP. Then Supreme Court say no. For lack of compliance to its own procedure of filing this thing, abandoning your case, the Supreme Court dismissed the matter. There was no ruling, it just dismissed the matter because of procedure. PDP again reapplied that the matter should be relisted in the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court lambasted PDP again that no, this matter was dead as at 7th of December 2022. There is no need, you cannot vomit it back here. So there was judgment. So if Justice Tukur was relying on those pictorial procedures that happened to PDP to say that the PDP have no structure in Plateau, wait for appeal court, either they should confirm or not confirm, whether there is structure or not structure. But there is no need for politicians to create unnecessary tension by issuing press statement. Plateau is ours. Politics is just interest. PDP or APC, Plateau should exist. We don't see the need. Let us be civil. Let us be democratic. Unless if the judgment was given by the lower tribunal and PDP was not given the opportunity to appeal the matter to the Court of Appeal, then I will say there was need for those protests. There was need for all those tension and apprehension that people are bringing it unnecessarily. But in my opinion, the end will justify the means. I'm optimistic that justice will be done at the end of the day. Even though APC, we are not satisfied with the position of Panel 2 by Justice William. We have no reason to abuse Justice William. We have no reason to write all sorts of rubbish against Justice William. It is his own understanding that gave him that. That was why he did that ruling. It is the understanding of Tukur that gave him that. Let's approach the appeal court to know who is right among the two panels instead of doing what we are doing today. I don't think it's the best.
So tell us, what's the situation with the State House of Assembly? How did it affect your party members?
Definitely, it's the ruling of the panel 1 at the State House of Assembly tribunal level. It's equally favoring the APC. As far as the three learned justices are concerned, PDP have no structure. So they have ruled in favor of APC. So it's a welcome development to my party, to me in particular, that we are beginning to take over until the confirmation and affirmation of that decision, if God so will, by the appeal court of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, or Court of Appeal of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All right. So some of your colleagues across the states lost their seats at various tribunals. What impact is this having on the National Assembly?
That is the law. That is democracy for you. It's very unfortunate that you are getting familiarized with most of your colleagues, that you are beginning to think together, that you are laying proper foundation for legal framework that will advance the cause of democracy in this country, that will better the lots of the people. It's very unfortunate that you are coming together with so many intelligent and vibrant colleagues to come up with legal framework that will ensure good governance, that will ensure peace, that will ensure stability, that will ensure democracy, strive at the four angles of Nigeria, and all of a sudden you hear tribunal taking them off one after another. But again, we have three arms of government: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Each arm of government is mandated with its own responsibility. If the judiciary, in the course of discharging its mandate, so that most of those colleagues that we are already working with them are not supposed to be there for one reason or another, you must equally learn to deal with that situation. So I'm learning to deal with that situation and to equally hope that God will choose the best for this country at the end of the day.
So before we move on to other issues, let's quickly relate what is happening in Plateau State with Ndidi Elumelu, whose election has been overturned by the Court of Appeal. What hope for the APC in Plateau State?
There are two different judgments. The thing that is happening to PDP and APC in Plateau in the first instance is the position of the Court of Appeal that ruled against PDP was that there was a failure to obey court orders, which was both pre- and post-election matter. In the case of Elumelu, my most senior colleague, my brother, whom I so much respect and love to be in the National Assembly, the appeal court felt that it was a pre-election matter because it has to do with sponsorship of the candidate. But in the case of APC and PDP in Plateau, we have no any issue with sponsorship of the candidate. Rather, the structure of the party that sponsored the candidate. It means, therefore, it cannot be pre-election matter. And that is what Justice Tukur said. And that is what Tribunal said in the by-election of 2022. So it is both. And that is what the ruling of the Court of Appeal equally say in the case of the matter of Justice Gang and Justice Kunda that was brought to Court of Appeal by the PDP. So I think the earlier PDP understand the difference between Elumelu's matter and the matter that is happening in Plateau, the better. It happened in Zamfara. It wasn't about, when you talk to them about Zamfara, they will tell you it was a different electoral act. This situation is 2022 electoral act. It's very unfortunate that we are reading the law upside down. Even in the Court of Appeal, the presidential judgment that was just meted some 10 days, 95 days ago, the learned judges said that you cannot challenge nomination of a candidate because that is pre-election matter. But where there is a judgment against the political party, it can no longer be a pre-election matter. So, but again, if PDP in Plateau is getting comfort by the judgment of Elumelu, as well as convincing themselves for them to survive the short period of time, in my opinion, that by God's grace, it's going to, justice will be done at the end of the day. If that satisfies their conscience, it makes them happy that it is a pre-election matter. So be it, let them be happy to be temporarily happy. But I know time shall come that they will understand the difference between the case of lack of structure of PDP and the case of sponsorship of a candidate. They are two different things.
Right. So let's also talk about harassment of the judiciary, especially the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal. How will you describe the situation? Who do we blame for this and how do we tame it?
It was a sound judgment. It was aired live. Even a person that didn't go to classroom. So as long as you understand the speaking of English, you know that the justice have discharged justice. Again, why do you even take a a person that won election to court when you are not even second or second? So people have their reasons. But I believe the tribunal have done justice with what they have pronounced. More so that in my own sentiment, every politician is selfish. I have heard everything about the judgment because it favored my leader, the leader of this country, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I am very happy. I am equally more happy because there is an aspect that equally clear my doubt whether Plateau situation is pre-election matter or post-election matter. So the clear pronouncement of some statement by the judges that I had myself equally make me to be very happy that at the end of the day, by the special grace of God, we'll have all our House of Assembly seat in Plateau. God's willing, all our senators, all our House of Representatives and the governorship position, at the end of the day, by the special grace of God, we are going to have all of those. Be that as it may, they can accuse. We have been hearing a lot of things. But me, I put God first. Anybody that wants to say anything about my interest, that is his business. They will continue to be taking either lawyers or judges to Lagos. That's their own business. My party and the president of Nigeria is so happy. I am equally very happy. Let everybody be doing what he thinks he can best do to claim the victory. But as for APC, we are not worried about reaching out to stakeholders to influence decision or anything. We are optimistic that justice will be done at the end of the day.
I'm talking about harassment of the judiciary. How do we tame this, and who do we blame for this?
People that have sentiment, people that are selfish, should stop harassing the judiciary. I've given you an example with my party. I'm sure my party is going to issue statement between today and tomorrow in Plateau, calling on APC members to continue to be law-abiding. If it should not be, people are watching, Nigerians are watching. Why there was a judgment against me? I didn't fight. I didn't call for press conference. I didn't abuse judiciary. I didn't harass judiciary. Then there is a judgment against a PDP. All of a sudden, you begin to see all sorts of write-ups against judiciary. That question, I think PDP, particularly in Plateau State, should respect the judiciary as an arm of government, should equally have faith in judiciary as an arm of government, should follow constitutionality in pursuing and discharging their own grievances, either as a result of pronouncement of court or what have you. So as a parliament too, I think there is a need for parliament to look at our own legal framework to protect the judiciary. Otherwise, from the way things are happening, that everybody will call the name of judges and say whatever, simply because there was a judgment that did not favor somebody, your opponent. He kept quiet. He is following the law. Then a judgment didn't favor you. You are busy instigating and organizing chaos across the state. I don't think this is the way things is supposed to be done. Nobody is an alien in Nigeria and Plateau. We are all Nigerians. And we are all, in the case of Plateau, we are all Plateau men and women. And we have the interests of the state at heart, looking at our antecedent. Whether we love the state or we don't love, God at the end of the day knows who loves Plateau, who loves Nigeria. So I think we need to come up with legal framework to answer that question straight, that will be able to provide sincere and serious immunity to our justice system, so that judges will not be scared of dispensing justice at the end of the day.
All right. Thank you. Let's take a break, Honorable. Tonight,